Well, here we go. We're still picking away at corn harvest. Had a few days of sitting still. We got another, so total here we're at, we're getting close to 5.5, almost 6 inches total of rain during the harvest season here. Of course, not an issue for the Lexion and the tracks. But yeah, the truck is a nice addition. Boy, howdy. Dad can combine and I can just run like heck. And then when I get to the yard, I'll show you a couple more additions to help the harvest out. This is a fantastic chassis. Lightning in a bottle. He doesn't set any land speed records. Has the big old 477 gas engine. But the chassis, that engine, we'll figure something out for next year. But the chassis is fantastic. You got these wonderful cleated, good tires, and it's got lockers. So if need be, we can get in and out of some muddy fields when other semis can't. The previous owners did a good job. So when you're back here, he's got this lever, so you just tip that lever and you can run the hoist from back here. Works fantastic. It's a great truck, runs down the road beautiful. And so, yeah, it's just, you're dealing with that gas engine, but compared to the gravity wagons, it's a huge leap forwards. We got the 4-speed and a 5-speed, so it's a twin stick. And James, a farmer down southern Minnesota, Rochester area, he's been so kind. He's been, this little sand knob here probably be the best corn it's ever had, by a large margin, I bet. But James has been so nice to answer all my questions and kind of help me on this old truck, and he gave me the shift pattern I'm supposed to be using, except I can't shift good enough to do it how you're supposed to. So these gears are close together, these are not. So I stay in second here, run up to 5th, and then I can jump these 3 gears and then bounce between direct drive and overdrive through the hills. But if I keep the truck a little bit light with like 20 to 25,000 in the bed, I can get up into overdrive in 5th gear and just go. And so, yeah. So we added white lightning there to get the tractor and the gravity wagons off the road. We run busy highways, saves a lot of cost, wear and tear on the tractor, speeds up harvest. And then the neighbor sold me this auger. So now we can ship out at the same time we're shipping in. And the other, so that speeds up fall harvest big time, because what I was doing all these years is I'd go combine the wagons, bring that 3 to 4 acres of corn home, dump it in the bin, fill the bin up, take a week or two to fill the bin up, and then it'd take a week or two to empty the system and then fill it back up and that kind of deal. And so now we've been going fairly non-stop, quote unquote, for the last several days. And you don't get too many acres in a day, but it's still 100 times faster than what it was. And then we also poured a concrete stoop under the hopper here to clean that up. Dumped a bunch of dirt in so the tractor, and you're not walking in a mud hole. And yeah, it's working a whole lot better. And so there we go. It works out pretty nice. I leave the hopper there. I got a board by the left tire to indicate me, and I drive past, back up. It can unload and I can come check moisture, and yeah, works out pretty Pretty darn slick. Pretty darn slick. Well, let's end the day with giving the cows a bale. They've been on the corn stalks for a while now, and I thought let's bring them a bale of hay to get them some protein, and because we spoil our cows. So I'm running the tractor at a lot lower RPM than I normally. I've always been running the chopper at a wide open throttle, and then when you'd hit a tough spot, it would just really lug that tractor down. Where here, I'm only at like 3/4 throttle, and if you hit a tough spot, it just kind of, whoa, it's a million times smoother. There's a big chunk out of the back. There he goes. He fell down. So there you be. First, did we say first bale of the year? Yeah, there are a bunch of cows out here coming to run. So they're not exactly starving to death on the corn stalks, but it don't hurt to make sure that they have plenty of feed or a balanced diet. How about that? I know. Spoiled, but we really don't have to do a lot for them other than some maintenance once in a while, vaccinations and that kind of stuff, and feed them all winter. Well, good morning. Hey, yesterday everything was working fantastic. I was hauling loads in. Dad was keeping the grain cart full. Then he'd have time to come home and rest up and stuff. And then trucks were hauling out. It was just a great day. It wasn't, a 100-acre day by any means, but we hauled a lot of corn in, and the wet bin was doing a fantastic, and the dryer was doing a fantastic job of keeping up to us. The wet bin, I was afraid, was going to be our bottleneck. Turns out this little bolt here was. That broke on me a couple years ago, so I welded more bushing material on the shaft to give it more stability, and that was a huge improvement. But I think this coming summer, in the summer of 25, I should put this on my checklist of let's pull that shaft out and get a couple feet of shaft to go in, because I think what happens is there's a little bit of wiggle when you're only that far into the auger. There's just a little bit of wiggle, and it sits there and works on them bolts and eventually breaks the bolts off. So let's get a couple feet of shaft down there, and then that will stabilize it and it will work much better. But for now, let's just get a new bolt in if we can without taking this all apart. And the last time I did it, I had to pull this bearing plate off the front and get that shaft to come out, and then turn the auger to come out, get it bolted back together, and then screw it back in. But let's see with a pin punch if I can't find that hole and line us up. And so, all right, well, we didn't have the right piece of steel, so we just kind of farmer engineered an extension onto the shaft. We put a foot of steel inside that, so there's moment of truth. Hooray! It does run a lot smoother. I don't know if you ever noticed in other videos that motor would sit there and bounce, and I think it's because that shaft, every time that bolt turns horizontal, that shaft was allowed to spring up because of the belt tension. And so we'll get the dryer refilled and back underway. Back for another round. The auger worked good all day yesterday. We're making progress on refilling the bin. Knock on wood, everything's going good. Made some adjustments to the combine. and we're getting a little bit of grind on this other field, so I slowed the cylinder down a lot and then tightened it up 1 millimeter to see on the next truckload, see if that's better or worse, and we'll go from there. Combine can warm up. We got to run down the road. We found the end of this field, and grain truck was working great on the way over this morning. All of a sudden, boop, lost brakes, and I got looking at it, and the front tandem must have blown out that cylinder, one of the cylinders for the brakes, because it's all oil inside. It's dripping oil. So we'll cap that wheel off and see if we can't rebleed the system, so I can still use the truck and be safe on the road. But minor hiccup. Let's get this guy down the road and to the next field, just a couple miles there, and I'm excited for the next field. It's a simple field, but usually does pretty good with minimal work to it. Well, here we go. We got moved down here, got the fields opened up. The blackness you see here, and then right there, that black spot, that's all drowned out. There's kind of a big old nasty spot on this side of the hill, and but I had to set you down for a second so I could get into row here. But where there's corn, man, there is some magnificent corn. Holy cow, there is some corn here. Your 1 acre rounds for the most part, and that's about all I can put into the combine. That is fantastic. There is some monster corn. Kind of neat to see, you know, then all that stuff just sucks through the combine, and then it's just that slurry storm and flurry there behind the head, and you look out behind you and there it's nothing. So next year's beans, if we no-till or strip till, there's gonna be some good, a lot of good material for the soil. There's another hole. But yeah, this is just some beautiful corn. We got snow coming, so I got the one load out of here, and then and the truck put in the garage for the night. The hoppers lifted up on the augers, and then I want to get the grain cart, get a good pile in the grain cart, so when I roll that tarp across, the grain supports the weight of that tarp when there's snow on there, you know. But yeah, this field, we drone sprayed this field, and I am so glad we did, because it was well worth the investment. You had a great looking potential here, and other than the missing spots, great looking potential, and so why not invest in the crop to see if you can't push it to that next level. And so I'll keep track. We'll keep track of pounds coming off this field, and but if it all stays like this, man, oh man, that's going to be a fantastic field for our area. It's kind of mesmerizing just watching everything in front and then just seeing confetti in the back. But yeah, so all right, I'll leave you guys there. Thank you very much.